Hello guys, it's time for blind reaction of this Sadclop reading called How Flurry Heart Became an Alicorn. My Little Pony Sadclop reading. 18 plus, 22 minutes and 42 seconds on. Well. Right. Let's get this reaction started. 3, 2, 1, go. Your discretion is advised. Hello, Sparrow.
Shining Armor watched as Celestia's sun descended behind the horizon, only to be replaced by Luna's moon and stars among
Looks like they're actually fucking as well.
It was a beautiful night in the Crystal Empire after a boring day of just sitting on the throne next to his wife, hoping for something exciting to happen. Unfortunately, the only excitement the two got was feeding and bathing their newborn daughter, Flurry Heart.
Hello, Flurry Heart.
It had been a couple of weeks since the crystal heart had been shattered, then reformed into a whole new artifact once again, thanks to Sunburst's help. He had been a great help in tending to Flurry Heart, but Shining Armor and Cadence still had to tend to their child as best they could, seeing Sunburst needed breaks as well. The moon shone bright as Shining Armor walked off the balcony back into the master bedroom, where he stood alone. Cadence had decided to take a relaxing bath while he could, seeing Flurry Heart had fallen asleep in her crib next to the two's bed. As much as Shining Armor wanted to join his wife for some private time, he knew that Flurry Heart could not be left alone, so he ignored his hormones and tended to Flurry Heart asleep in her small crib.
Okay.
She was so peaceful when she was asleep, causing Shining Armor to smile, but still remained quiet as possible, not wanting to wake up his daughter. He could see that his daughter was fine, so he took his seat on the edge of the large bed and envied the silence of the room while he could.
I don't have a
he had not heard this much silence in a room ever
Shining Armor
since
push.
He got married to
I like
Cadence.
to have one, but I can't get one.
Most of the time, he was either tending to the Crystal Guard or Flurry Heart anymore. He was tired, exhausted, and this moment of pure peace and quiet made him nearly fall asleep in his sitting position. As much as he wanted to take that opportunity to fall asleep, he didn't want to anger Cadence for sleeping with their child unguarded, so he kept his eyes open. He continued to smile at Flurry Heart.
Come on, you both have to sleep sometimes.
By the sound of water sloshing in the bathroom just across the room. The door was shut, but Shining Armor knew that Cadence had finished bathing and would be out any second. His suspicions were correct as the knob turned on the door, and Cadence stepped out of the steamy bathroom, completely stripped of her princess accessories. She didn't have her crown or horseshoes on, with her mane messy and every bit of her pink body visible to his eyes. Shining Armor's eyes bulged at the sight of his wife in her natural image, which Cadence quickly caught and as a result gave him a confused look.
What?
She asked.
Nothing. It's just that I haven't seen you this natural in a while.
Really?
Stupidly.
This natural?
Cadence blushed at the sound of her husband's words.
Natural?
Natural?
Yeah, you may not know it, but I love it when you choose not to style your mane or put on all your fancy accessories, Cadence. You just look so naturally beautiful like that.
He complimented.
Yep, she does.
Cadence's face had grown to a much darker shade of pink at the sound of her husband's words. She approached him in full.
Looks like she's got a version already.
Walking as low as possible, not wanting to wake Flurry Heart.
Sorry.
She took a seat next to Shining Armor, admiring her sleeping daughter.
Well, she's next to me at the moment.
Flurry Heart's wings were spread out in her crib, barely fitting the width of the crib. Cadence felt bad for her daughter, seeing the wings she was born with had to be heavy upon the young foal's back.
Yeah, the quite big wings.
She still remembered her young years as a filly and getting used to her wings. She may have been born a Pegasus, but she had not adapted to the wings until she was 5 years of age. Even under the teachings of Princess Celestia and Princess Luna, she still struggled to adapt to her wings that she had been born with.
Yeah.
The difficulty only increased with a horn added at the time of her transformation into an Alicorn.
Thanks to Celestia.
Flurry Heart had a large wingspan, and the two large wings had to be heavy to the young princess. Both Cadence and Shining Armor still wondered why the daughter had been born an Alicorn, due to the fact even though Cadence
How heavy
was
are the wings though?
Her genetics could not cause Flurry to be born an Alicorn. If that wasn't the case, then how did it happen?
We know.
Cadence
We don't
sat in
know.
wonder of the subject at hoof, only to be interrupted by Shining Armor.
Cadence!
He questioned.
Ow!
Cadence snapped out of her state of deep thought, turning to her husband.
I'm fine, Shining. I was just thinking.
I'm shining on at the moment. Yeah.
She stated.
Like what?
He asked.
Like what? You tell me.
Cadence did not lie, seeing this subject had been brought up more than once by both of them.
What happened during my pregnancy to make our daughter become an alicorn?
She confessed.
We don't know.
Honey, we've talked about this.
We have?
Even if we knew the reason why, there's nothing we can do to change it now. What's done is done, and either way it was gonna happen when Flurry grew up.
Yeah.
Stated Shining Armor. Cadence knew that her husband was right, so she gave Shining Armor an assuring smile, even though the subject still had not left her mind.
No.
Should we get some sleep while we still can?
Asked Shining Armor.
Sure, Shining. Remember, it's your turn to change Flurry's diaper.
Agreed Cadence. Shining Armor
Nappies.
gave a
Nappies
simple
was.
smile to show that he understood, as he pulled out the sheets from under the pillow on his side of the large bed. Cadence followed and quietly pulled the sheets from under her pillow, settling onto her side of the bed and pulling the sheets over her. Shining settled in with her and snuggled up against Cadence. Cadence immediately caught on, noticing Shining Armor was more snug up against her than usual.
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
She
Not
stated.
tonight.
Shining Armor knew that he had been caught, but lied to cover his actions.
What? I'm just
Oh!
cuddling with you, Cadence.
Yeah, just
You lied.
cuddling. Yeah, just
Oh,
cuddling.
please, Shining, I can feel your lower drawer friend hardening against my thigh.
She claimed.
I'm gonna get that in a minute.
Shining had noticed his member forming into an erection, and as much as he wanted
He's
to
called a
shove
cock.
it into Cadence's hole only inches from where his member was positioned, he respected Cadence's words and backed away. She was practically torturing him in her current state, and the night was perfect for a romantic occasion.
Romantic.
Shining bit
More
his
like
lip
fucking
at his
occasion.
hormones running wild, and to prevent his lower drawer friend from performing anything, he turned away from Cadence and attempted to go to sleep. Cadence was in the mood for romance as well, but not with Flurry Heart right next to their bed.
Yeah.
The last thing she needed was for Flurry to wake up and catch her and Shining having sex, possibly scarring her young daughter for life. But she was so horny, and the feeling of Shining's member against her thigh made her hormone levels jump to their highest peak. She could feel
What
her
about my
vaginal
hormones? I
skin
got fucking
moisten
got a
from her
boner now.
hormones running wild.
Thank you.
She had not had sex ever since the night she got impregnated with Flurry Heart. And for a matter her day and age to go that long
That
without
is
sexual
hard now.
interaction between her
Fucking
and
hell.
Shining Armor was hard.
I just
wanted
said I
a
was
moment of
hard
freedom with
too.
her husband, just to rid herself of her sexual temptation. But she couldn't do it here.
I can't do it here. I can't do it
One
here
moan or
either.
scream would wake up Flurry Heart for sure, and Shining wasn't gentle with his large member. She tried to fight off the thoughts by closing her eyes to sleep.
She's had a good half
But it
fuck
was no
then.
use. She had sat there for 2 hours, tossing and turning in an attempt to sleep, but her hormones were saying otherwise. She finally gave up and resorted to a solution to her problem, but she would have to be careful not to make too much noise.
Put a sound barrier
In
around
her
you.
mind, getting up from the bed, moving toward the bathroom, and shutting the door behind her. Shining noticed this and had a feeling of what she was doing, so he carefully made his way out of the bed and quietly walked over to the bathroom door. He placed one of his ears against the door, hearing low moans from within, just quiet enough not to wake Flurry Heart. It wasn't hard to determine what Cadence was doing. She was masturbating. Shining felt the door handle, noticing that it was unlocked.
You sure the
It was
VA
likely
wasn't
for some
masturbating
component of
too?
Privacy. He turned the handle and slowly opened the door, immediately spotting Cadence on the bathroom floor with her right front hoof in her vaginal hole. His entrance surprised her and caused her to immediately blush.
Shining, I can explain.
She said in embarrassment. Shining Armor did not respond, just resorted to shutting the bathroom door and locking it. The sight of his masturbating wife had already caused his member to harden into an erection, which Cadence immediately
It's already hard,
started.
mate.
She licked her lips at the sight of Shining's enlarged member and just continued to stare. Shining Armor noticed this and walked toward his desperate wife.
I'm not mad, Cadence. It's
And
been
did
12 months. So why are we fighting it? Flurry's asleep, we're all alone in here. And we're both desperate. Let's tame our desperation.
Yeah.
Terrified,
Shining, we can't. We'll wake up Flurry Heart.
she responded
She's
harshly.
Alicorn.
Not if we perform a spell. Put a soundproof spell in the bathroom. We could tame our sexual desires.
Oh
Stated
yes,
Shining
you
Armor.
can. Oh yes.
Cadence had never thought of that, and knowing that she knew a spell like that made her hormones rush even faster than they already were.
Well then, let's not waste any more time.
She
No.
stated, casting a soundproof spell upon the bathroom. Once the spell was performed, Cadence grabbed hold of Shining's member with her magic and thrusted it into her warm and moist vagina. The sudden action by Cadence surprised Shining, but he did not hold up and gave Cadence all the pleasure he could provide,
Oh yeah.
thrusting his member in and out of Cadence's
Fucking hell, this is good.
The feeling of his member thrusting in and out of Cadence's vagina
Harder, harder, harder.
bliss to both of them. He continued the motion, hearing Cadence moan and scream from the pleasure he was giving her. The moans increased in volume as he continued to thrust his member as deep into Cadence's warm pussy as he could get it. He had started to sweat massively, feeling Cadence's vagina tense up around his large member.
What about my cock,
He
man?
was hitting a
Wow.
sensitive spot, and Cadence was enjoying every moment of it.
So am I.
Feeling himself near an orgasm. So to prevent Cadence from becoming impregnated, he cast a spell on his member to prevent any sort of his cum from impregnating his wife. Once the spell was cast, Shining sped up, increasing the speed of his thrusts, causing Cadence to scream in pleasure. She yelled out screams and moans.
Faster! Faster, Shining! Don't stop!
Shining did not slow down, feeling a strong sensation build up in
So I
his
set it a
genitals.
spell then.
After a series of strong thrusts, Shining came in sight of Cadence, feeling his cum fill the inside of Cadence's vaginal hole to the brim until it leaked onto the bathroom floor. After Shining's orgasm ended, he looked into Cadence's eyes, both of them breathing heavily and sweating. Just
Twilight
from the look of
spell.
Cadence's expression, Shining could tell that she wasn't fully satisfied.
What's wrong, Cadence?
What's
She
wrong?
asked.
I didn't climax, Shining.
Aww.
She confessed. Shining did not waste time and pulled his member from Cadence's vaginal hole, covered in his semen.
Do you still want it?
He asked,
Yes, she does.
while stroking his member until it was hard again. Cadence wasted no time and got on top of Shining Armor, feeling her husband's member enter her once again. Shining did not hold back this time and thrusted his member in and out of Cadence at a rapid pace. Cadence moaned sexually, feeling her orgasm start to build up again. To show her husband that he was fucking her right, he planted her lips against his. Shining Armor returned the kiss, falling into a passionate one, continuing to thrust his member in and out of her pussy faster
Wow.
than ever before.
Oh
The
yeah.
kiss was passionate as they caressed each other's tongues in their mouths within the kiss, leading to the two's hormone levels rising to a level beyond their top peak, and Cadence's orgasm starting to build to climax. Shining Armor could feel something leaking down the side of his member within Cadence's
It's a good
vagina,
thing I don't feel
causing
the
his member
wetness.
to build up to yet another orgasm. Both were close as the echoing of Cadence's screams for more pleasure ringed throughout the small bathroom, along with the lingering smell of sex and sweat. Shining could feel his member growing close, so he sped up even faster, feeling a small pain in his hips from thrusting so much. But he didn't care. Cadence could feel a strong sensation building up in her vagina as Shining continued to thrust. Screams and moans of sexual pleasure filled the room.
Wow.
erupting in
Gosh,
loud
and got a bit
volume
hard there,
as
haven't I?
both of them
Down there. I'm not gonna show you, but it's down there.
Cadence's
Bonus
vagina
hard.
erupted a large number of violent thrusts as her bodily fluid showered over Shining Armor's member. Shining could feel Cadence's cum against his member as he injected his wife's moist vagina, filling it completely full with his cum.
Come.
Both of them quivered from the feeling of their bodily
Or
fluids
crumb.
colliding against each other. Cadence was still in mid-orgasm as he pulled his member from Cadence's vagina, still pulsating thrusts of bodily fluid.
Wow.
Let's see if we can make your orgasm last longer.
Spoke Shining Armor.
Wow.
What do you mean?
Questioned Cadence, struggling through her orgasm.
Just watch.
Stated Shining Armor. Cadence grew surprised as she felt Shining Armor stick his horn into her pulsating vagina. She moaned from the feeling,
Wow.
but quickly erupted into a massive scream as Shining cast some sort of spell upon the inside of her vagina. The result of the spell was nothing but a massive sensation within her body, as more massive thrusts of cum shot from her vagina all over Shining's sweat-drenched body.
Fucking hell.
She
This
didn't
is
moan or
fucking
scream from
good.
the feeling. She felt as if she were in a trance of bliss and sexual pleasure, a feeling she had felt before.
And I got mental
Suddenly,
images in my head now.
her mind spiked in the midst of the orgasm, as she remembered back to the night of her impregnation. 12 months earlier,
Don't stop! I'm about to. I'm
Shining Armor and Cadence climaxed, erupting into an echo of screams and moans of sexual pleasure. Shining Armor settled to his side of the bed, feeling his orgasm subside, but still feeling Cadence's thrusts of cum
Okay.
against the head of his member within her pulsating vagina.
Oh,
He liked the
yeah.
feeling of her orgasm against his member, and envied the feeling, until he felt it subside against his member.
Well,
Once Cadence's
do I need to orgasm
had
as
subsided,
well?
Shining Armor proceeded to pulling out his member and staring at his wife next to him.
Why did it have to end so fast?
Asked Cadence, desperate for more. Shining Armor thought back to a spell he had come across in his teenage years. He was trying to get lucky with a mare he had been dating for a while, and decided to do some research on sex. Among the research,
As you do.
he stumbled across a spell that is designed to extend an orgasm, but can only be performed in or after an orgasm. He never decided to try it, but here he was, in bed with his wife, and she wanted more.
Well, I know a spell that can do that, Cadence.
He stated.
Really?
She asked, intrigued.
Yeah, but just be warned.
Cadence silenced him, placing her hoof over his mouth.
Do it.
She commanded.
Do it. Make me wet.
Yes, do it. We still haven't gotten to round 2, and I want to be as sexy as possibly for you, Shining.
She replied seductively.
And to me today.
Shining did not hold up, stuck his horn into Cadence's vaginal hole, and cast the spell.
Wow.
Immediately, Cadence's vagina had begun to pulsate cum once more,
I could.
and with her magic, she
Things I want to do
grabbed
now, I
and
can't do it now.
thrusted
You know
it
what I mean?
through her pulsating vagina.
Sorry.
Round 2 has begun, big boy.
She said seductively, pulling Shining on top of her and proceeding to another round of love-making. Cadence came out of her trance, immediately realizing what had caused Flurry Heart to be born in Alicorn. Her orgasm ended as Shining Armor stood back up and held out his hoof in a generous act. Cadence did not respond, just stared blankly across the room, feeling tears build up in her eyes.
I caused it.
She said sadly. Shining Armor was confused, staring at his
I
wife
don't think
in
it's your. I
wonder.
don't think it's
You
your.
cause what, Cadence?
It's not your. I
Yes.
wouldn't say it was her fault.
Cadence continued to stare blankly, until she suddenly burst into tears.
I know my Flurry was born Alicorn. Shining. I did it.
Her voice was nearly blank, as Shining placed his hoof upon her cheek gently.
You didn't cause it, Cadence. No pony knows why she was born in Alicorn.
He spoke. Cadence shook her head, making Shining finally realize that she was being serious.
I know why Flurry was born in Alicorn, Shining. I did it.
It's alright. It's
Do
alright.
you remember the night when I became pregnant? You cast the same spell as you just did moments ago. You tried to warn me that that spell was never been performed, but I was so greedy. I just wanted to experience another severe orgasm. Due to my greediness, I believe that the spell had caused Flurry Heart's genetics to be altered, resulting in her DNA being mixed with both a Pegasus and unicorns. I caused it! I'm
No!
a horrible mother!
You're not horrible. You're not horrible. You're not horrible. It's alright. You're not horrible, right? No.
The sudden outburst made Shining jump back a little. What Cadence had just stated actually made sense. It could very well be the case of why Flurry was born the way she was.
It's alright.
Cadence had burst into tears again, and Shining was not sure how to handle the situation, because he had no answers.
No.
He believed that Cadence was correct about Flurry's birth, and as much as he wanted to help her, he was speechless to say anything. From outside the door, the sound of crying erupted, meaning Flurry was awake. Shining knew he was of no use here, so he rushed out of the bathroom to tend to Flurry Heart. Shining lifted Flurry from her crib and cradled the young Alicorn in his hooves. He couldn't smell anything coming from the diaper, but he still changed Flurry's diaper. He was so glad that he was a unicorn and didn't have to change the diaper with his mouth.
Yeah.
That is one of the pros of being a unicorn that he envied. Flurry stopped crying now that her diaper was changed, and just cuddled against her father's shoulder. Shining smiled at the sight of his daughter against his shoulder. It was peaceful, until he overheard Cadence's crying from the bathroom, along with Flurry. Flurry Heart suddenly took off in flight toward the bathroom, where she found her mother in distress on the bathroom floor. Luckily, there was no evidence of sexual activity present. Cadence lifted her head from her hooves,
It's alright.
noticing her daughter right
Hey, it's
in
not
front
her
of her.
fault, though. I don't believe it's her
It was as
fault.
if Flurry could tell she was in distress.
Mommy's okay, sweetie.
Cadence lied. Shining Armor joined the two in the bathroom, noticing that Cadence had become a little cheered up. Flurry Heart transported again, only this time into Cadence's hooves. The sight was touching, as a smile formed upon Cadence's face. Flurry Heart cuddled up against her mother's chest, slowly falling back to sleep. To help her daughter sleep, Cadence began to rock her arms in emotion.
See, Cadence? Even if you did cause her to be born in Alicorn, she loves you no matter what. And that's all that should matter.
Spoke Shining Armor. Cadence smiled as she continued to rock her daughter back to sleep.
I see that now.
She confirmed. Shining Armor yawned. Seeing his sexual desires had been tamed, he was ready to rest for the night.
Want me to take her?
Actually, no. You go ahead, Shining. I'm going to spend some time with Flurry Heart.
She replied. Shining agreed and wandered off to bed. Cadence just continued to hold her daughter close, cherishing this moment with her daughter. There was nothing abnormal about Flurry Heart's birth or creation.
Good night, my perfect angel.
She spoke, kissing her
Aww.
daughter on the head and falling
So
into a sleep.
cute.
The moment was perfect, and nothing could ruin it.
No. 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 Well, that is over with, and that was a good reading. I did actually love that reading. I had more bonus as usual. I got naked, Flurry. No, I mean, what's your name again? Your name? Cadence, thank you. You're completely naked now. Yeah, you know, that was a good, I did enjoy that reading. Fuck me hard. No, I can't fuck you hard. No. I'm just a guy. I'm just a human person. I can't fuck you. Do it. I'm getting ahead of myself. That was a good reading. The sexual pleasures sound so fucking real. I'm like, what the fuck is she actually doing? She actually doing it for real. Oh dear. Is it? I don't know if it's easy for a voice actress to fake a sexual pleasure, or do that, or is some of the sound effects actually real? Right, I'm not gonna do that now. Some family might have some wrong ideas about me. Yeah, that was a good reading, and very good reading, and hopefully you like this reading. I'll come back to you later on. Oh yes.